to help you hold on in times of complication. Anybody dealt with any complications lately? Trust me, I believe with God you can handle. He says the Lord is my light. He didn't say the Lord. He said the Lord. When you understand the Hebrew word, he's basically saying the Lord is responsible for his responsible for my life. Take it.
That's right.
When you are finding yourself like a ship battered by the angry sea, when you're raging and wonder what I have done to make this race, take courage, because the Lord. How? When I think about our people, we've to and who to connect with during time of the enslavement period. We had our own connection. As we kept going is because we had a good connection. Singing songs of Zion, but we kept going. Always known how to keep going. In God. We always trusted God for and facing everything. Yeah, I hope y'all get out and vote, and yeah, so that this world won't go to the right one. But in case we don't, we'll need God. Yes. Disappointments. Sometimes it reminds you that you still need. To leave you standing alone, and they know you're. You're reminded that trauma that should have caused you to become that we still like a ship. Complications are church family. Lean on your connection. During your time. What is? And I love that it's repeated. And that is the Lord is. And he's implying that he cannot live without God. How do we maintain this courage, church family? You got to remember that connection. And when we someone help me back there. When we find ourselves, when we find ourselves facing these complicated realities, that's the only thing you have left, that we connect and facing everything. That we connect with God. I hope y'all get out and vote, and so that this world won't go to. Second thing I see in this text is that not only do we have to remember the connection, but we have to recognize where we are covered and how we are covered. I love this text is that he expresses a conviction, and then he provides for us a strategy. And the strategy is, if the Lord is, the Lord will sustain me till I get to this place. Now, here's what's happening, church. He's under attack. He's fighting. He's struggling. Everybody's organizing against him. And the psalmist says the Lord is, and he does what he can to get to his next place of safety. He has a desire that even though the army is coming, even though my enemies are around, even though my foes are rising, if I can just get to this place where God is, I will find the cover that I need. I'll find the stronghold that I need. I'll find the protection. You got to know where to go until you can deal with or handle what come your way. He's looking for the temple. He says, Lord is, and while I'm running and while I'm searching, if I can just find the place. And y'all do know the temple was the place where they understood the presence of God. This is Zion royal theology. This simply says that if the king can find God, God will spare the nation. If the leader will get to God, then the nation can be spared. If the leader can get to God, we won't be overthrown. He says, can I find the temple, the tabernacle, a place of shelter, a stronghold? If I can just get where God is, I can stay there till this stuff pass over. One of the things I love about the Psalter is that the psalmist was not afraid to acknowledge where he needs to be, where he needs to go. Oftentimes you will hear them talk about a cave, and that's because in that cave they will be safe, where they can talk to God, they can sleep, they can rest, they don't have to worry about things. That's what you hear in Psalm 23, that he will lead you beside still waters. He will lead you beside quiet places. He will allow you to rest because the Lord is his shepherd. So God, if you just be who you are and lead me to your place of covering. Can I ask y'all a question? Where do you go for your place of covering? Sunday morning, y'all come to the church, but y'all fighting evil every day of the week. Where do you go to find cover? And what do you need God to cover you from? Have you recognized who and what your enemy is so that you'll know when it's time to move to your place of covering? God, brothers and sisters, is not absent. God has never been absent. God has always been active. God has always been there for us. God has always said, I'm here. God has always shown God's power. The problem is we won't go where God has provided us the place to find our protection. And I would argue, sisters and brothers, throughout the Psalter, is that it's not that the place is moving, it's that we won't move. You notice what he says? One thing that I desire of the Lord, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord, that I will what? Seek him in his tabernacle. In other words, I want to be wherever God is. And when I discover where God locates God's self, that is the place where I want to sit under. And I want to sit under because as long as I'm with God, as long as I walk with God, as long as God sees me, even when I can't see God, I know I am protected. In complicated moments, the problem that occurs is that we lose vision. Not because you lost sight of where to go. You're looking at what you are up against instead of looking at who's there for you. He says, for in the time of trouble, God will hide you in his tabernacle. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know how many battles you're up against. I don't know if it's in your body, if it's in your mind, if it's in your context, if it's on your job, if it's with your family, if it's with medical conditions, if it's with social political issues, if it's with policies. I don't know what's trying to choke you out. But one thing I do know is that there's a cover for you. Tuesday, there will be a cover for you. There's a cover for you now. And after Tuesday, there is a cover for you. You just have to make sure you sit and rest under the cover of God. Is there anybody here that can testify that when you are under the hands of God, God always has a way to make sure you come out on top? Well, last thing I see if we're going to handle